Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the most magical podcast in the Midwest. That's right, the Magic in the Midwest podcast, starring USA Today best-selling author J.B. Michaels and his more successful wife, Ashley Michaels. And now, your hosts. All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Magic in the Midwest podcast. This is podcast number 77 or 78? Which one is it?
I don't know. All I can focus on is what I said about the dogs
and,
next door.
And you just, literally as
back.
soon as we started recording, they started barking, like almost immediately.
Yeah, guys. Hopefully you guys can't hear it.
They're
they're non-stop barkers.
Bad news bears.
Bad news bears.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is brought to you by the many works of J.B. Michaels. Lots of wonderful things have happened in the world of J.B. Michaels, the author. Lots of number ones and bestseller status things have happened as of late, recently. So it's pretty cool.
What about in your personal life? You kind of have like the number one wife and the number one kid.
I do. That's the most important.
Well, you didn't even say it.
Well, that's not part of the podcast business side of things here, okay? Okay? It's personal. Okay?
Don't get on my case.
Anyway, it's personal.
Run the podcast.
Oh, gosh, you do not. All right, so... Oh, my God. All you do is show up. Okay, so... I'm not gonna engage. What's the last Insta post from Magic in the Midwest?
Like a long time ago. Why do I have to do it all the time?
Because you're the social media manager.
No, you're just lazy.
It's your podcast.
When's the last time
you just said it was your podcast?
J.B. Michaels writes books, posted an Instagram
I know.
post.
I'm not good at the social media.
Eat a D.
I know, but at the same time, I've hit, I had my record number of I hit records without any Instagram.
Okay, well, we hit records without me posting on Instagram.
Right.
So there you go.
Right. Anyway. So
let's move on.
Many works of J.B. Michaels, including the latest, which is Why the F Do I Need Life Insurance?
Why the F?
Why the F do you need life insurance? Well, I answer those questions. Read the book
and find out.
Yeah, and the book is free, you guys. Just go to any ebook platform and download it. It's just, or call or email me. I'll give it to you. So, it's very fun. It's very funny and breezy, and you learn some things. Breezy. Yeah, I know. It's about life insurance.
Do you feel like living with me is breezy?
So...
I think it's pretty breezy.
I don't think so, but I'm not going to get. Let's not get into the woods here. Let's not get thorny. I don't want to die. But anyway, I'm gonna kill the dogs. Yeah, I mean, I love dogs.
Me too.
But
I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't blame the dog.
I'm gonna Bambi's mom that dog. Okay. Anyway,
whoa,
that's right. Anyway,
so severe.
It's the Halloween horror. It's almost Halloween. It's okay to be severe. Okay, so yes, check out Why the F Do I Need Life Insurance. Also, check out my best-selling series, which is the Mac and Millie Mysteries. Mac and Mystery.
You're just trying to edge out
Mac and Millie Mysteries.
Now, side question: who came up with that idea?
I did
for the books.
I did.
False.
Anyway, I came up with the whole concept. You came up with one thing, the setting. You came up with the setting, and that was it.
I came up with the names. I came up with all the plots. I came up with the settings.
No, plot? She's lying.
You wrote it, but I mean, we all know that's the easy part.
She's totally lying. Anyway, so I'm just very excited because this is pretty cool. I'm just going to share this with you guys. For a day, I was number 10 in the entire Kindle store.
Why would you tell everyone for a day? Wouldn't you just let them think it was for longer?
For an entire day, I was number 10. But I was in the top 100 for a week.
I was. Just don't say when it ended.
Right. But I was there in the top 100 for a long time. So, there you go. And then the peak was 10. Isn't that cool?
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty amazing.
I mean...
And what's great is that there's a lot of great read through as well. So people are buying the sequential books in the Mac and Millie Mystery series. But it's crazy. You write a lot, and you realize that sometimes you just have to keep writing. Honestly, you just keep doing something, you guys, and you will find success. And it may not be in the way that you think.
Yeah.
I mean, I've found success in the other series, the Taylors. All 3 books have won awards. There's lots of success there in other ways, and it was good for a long time. It was it's still good, but so there's like commercial success, awards success, like literary achievement success, that kind of thing. But to be honest, no matter what you're doing, you just have to do. You just have to do it.
Yeah,
that's the hardest part, is that sometimes, especially if you're starting out doing something new, or it's something you lifelong goal that you just haven't got, like it hasn't happened for you yet, but you feel like it's not going to happen. It will. You just have to be persistent and keep trying and keep improving. And I'll be honest, with me, I think improvement comes with practice, right? I mean, it just comes with repetition and doing things again and again. But really, good things do happen. Hard work really does pay off. It really does.
It does.
I mean, I know that's a cliche, and it sounds like, cheesy. Oh gosh, JB, why are you talking about this? But I mean, it really does. And that goes for anything you set your mind to and want to succeed in. And another thing, too, is that some people are real humble to the point where the humility is almost limiting them. And I'm saying that doesn't mean humility is bad. Being humble and staying humble is really important, I think, to being a good human being. But sometimes you also have to let yourself reap those rewards. Like, let yourself enjoy your success. You know what I mean? Like, let yourself feel it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be super long. It doesn't have to be you shouldn't, you're not, you're only as good as the last thing you've done, right? I guess, but just something to think about as you move forward and you do different things and you keep trying. Things do happen. They do open up. So, and then when it does, good things do start happening. Be accepting of those good things, because I feel like a lot of times, you just like, you get real hard on yourself, but
well,
don't.
You know what? There's always a lot of reasons not to do something. But I think if we've learned anything the last, 6 or 7 years, it's, to piggyback off what you're saying, it's the consistency and the working hard. And there are going to be times where you sort of fall off the wagon and you sort of have to catch yourself. Like, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, kind of be like, you know what? I need to get back into making this a priority. And we've had a lot of change over the last few years.
Yeah.
So, your writing and the way that you do it has sort of shifted over the years, and I think it's okay to kind of move through those different phases of your life and adjust accordingly. And we've also learned that, sometimes things just don't go as planned.
Right.
There are things changing for us that we wouldn't have guessed, and
right.
Career changes and other things. It's just been, one of those things that I don't know. Sometimes when you're 20 and you think about what your life will be, and it doesn't mean that it's any less fulfilling or happy. It's just different, than what you maybe envisioned.
And I'll be honest with you, I really didn't know. That's funny. I really didn't know at 20 years old that I would hit, the USA Today list twice, be a bestseller in multiple categories and at multiple venues. We even hit a bestseller status in Barnes & Noble.
Right.
Just recently. That's awesome. Like, that's really cool.
You did it.
Right? I mean, that's really
I know
neat.
Come up with your plots and everything, but you did it.
Yeah, but it was really cool to at 20, I didn't even imagine that, right?
Well, right. I mean, your goals and things you want for your life shift throughout.
As you go.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to write, but I mean, this, it's, things are good on that front. It's just because, 15 books later, things are starting to, I mean, it took, some people it takes one book and it just blows up, right?
I think that's very rare.
Right.
But yes.
I mean, this is 15 and we've been making some crazy headway. So it's good stuff. But I don't know. So I really think that, just do something you love, do something you enjoy, and also be accepting of the rewards and the success that will come by being a good person and by working hard. And it does happen. It really does. Mm-hmm. So and I was thinking about that too. So today's podcast is going to be about Halloween Horror Nights 30, and I was thinking about just how hard it must have been for Universal, the people working there at Universal Creative, and to not have it really the way they wanted it to have it last year.
Yeah.
But then to come back and have another great event like they did this year with the full 10 houses. That's just a testament to hard work, and it was great. I mean, it's really great. So we're going to talk about day one of our latest trip, which was last week. So
crazy.
We actually did something weird. We left in the middle of the day. So
yeah, we never do that.
Yeah, we left at 1:00, 12:50 was our flight. Mm-hmm. And surprisingly, the flight it went as perfectly as it could. It was smooth. Yeah,
yes, because like JB is probably about to mention, we kind of were cutting it really close. We had planned on we had tickets for the event that night, Thursday night, and so if our plane was delayed even a little, we could have possibly missed a lot. So we were hoping everything would go smoothly, and it did. So,
and it was a big a big. That was the night that we made our biggest expense.
Right.
We spent money on tickets to get in Horror Nights, and then we also spent the money to do the Horror Nights Express Pass.
Yes.
So it was a lot.
Yeah, we had a lot riding on that plane ride going okay, especially because Southwest, and we won't get into all that, had several delays the weekend before, so we were a little nervous about it.
Yeah.
There's something else. I was mentally prepared for it not to go super great.
Yeah.
I was like, what? If it happens, it happens. We were going to go in Sunday again anyways, and I was like, if we have to pivot, we pivot.
We will.
But everything went well, and we were able to do everything we planned. So
yes, it was really good. It was really good. So smooth flight. Actually, got in early, mm-hmm. which is surprising. And then, we then just took a cab. We just which wound up being a lot more money, but that's okay. We took a cab. Yeah, it was more money to take the cab
than a Lyft.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we took a cab just for sake of time. It just was let's just go. There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them sitting there waiting, and I was like, all right, let's just do it. So we took a cab, and we stayed at the Hyatt Place, which is literally across the street from the main parking garages that lead into City Walk. If you look at a map, it's Hyatt Place, then the garage is for City Walk across the street. But I think it's fair to say Ashley and I are just not going to be doing that again. It has nothing to do with the Hyatt Place.
No.
That actually, the hotel is fine. You know what I mean? It's totally, it's a nice hotel.
It's, if you're looking for a budget-friendly way to be close to Universal, and maybe you don't want to stay on Universal property, this is a great option for you. And it does have a bus that goes to Universal.
It does have a shuttle that runs from 7 to 9 or so. It's very limited.
And I think breakfast is always included. We had an included breakfast.
Yes.
So it's a good option if you're looking to spend most of your day out in the parks
and not spend a ton of money. Yeah. It is good.
Yeah.
It was a good budget option.
We've used it the last few years we've gone.
Yeah, we've used it three times. 3 times?
Yeah.
Did we really?
Yeah, because we went twice and we used it both times before.
Oh, yeah.
And this time. Yeah.
No. We did Cabana Bay the first time.
Oh, did we stay there the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay, so we
Yes,
only stayed
twice. We've
Okay.
only stayed at Hyatt Place.
Okay,
Twice.
you're right.
Yeah. So now, here's the caveat with this. So we think, now this is interesting. This is very interesting. Okay, so what we did is something that I don't think Universal wants people to do.
Anymore. We didn't have an issue with it
Yeah.
2 years ago.
No. I'm fairly certain that there is stuff that they have done to try and mitigate the amount of people doing something like we were doing. Okay? So it's sort of, I mean, it's not really an
So
exploit.
even though we talked about a shuttle, JB and I were mainly we use Lyft. You can use Uber too.
Yeah,
To go
yeah.
from the hotel, and we were actually taking that Lyft over to Hard Rock instead
Yes.
of City Walk.
Hard Rock Hotel.
Hard Rock Hotel, and then being dropped off there, and basically using the walkway from Hard Rock to walk into City Walk and
Studios
the
and-
studios and stuff like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But we found this year that it was like we couldn't get the Lyft app to like even load.
It was
and-
weird. Now, we did talk to one of our Lyft drivers. And he's like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "Around here, it's just really bad. The reception's really bad." And I was like, "That's interesting because it was never that way before."
Now here's the only other thing I'll say is that maybe it has been like this for the last few years, but we didn't notice because this is the first trip that we were there a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And the last trip we took when we stayed there, we
Stayed
were out late.
Yeah.
Like, 1, 2 in the morning. So things are, he was talking about how you can usually, everything's fine by that point.
Yeah.
But there were a few nights this trip where we came back at 8 or 9, and it was definitely a totally different story. The one night that we did come back late, it was fine.
Yeah. So maybe it's just because there's a very high concentration of people. What we also noticed is that people were parking. I don't think people that were even guests of Hard Rock Hotel, I think just locals or whoever, were parking in the Hard Rock Hotel parking lots and then walking to Horror Nights from there.
Right, and we saw
Rather
like high
than-
school age kids like getting dropped off at the corner of Hard Rock Hotel. I think that while this event is not something that's like super small, no one knows about, it's getting bigger and bigger, and it's definitely the kind of event that will attract a lot of young people too. Like it's something cool to do during Halloween time, and they're catching on to different ways of like, I don't want to be dropped off at the end of City Walk, so let's go do this.
Yeah, because there is the I could see why. Because you get done with Horror Nights, you go back to that City Walk garage. It's going to take you a long time to get out of that garage. You know, like it's not like, because that's where everybody's cars are. It probably takes, it adds probably an extra half hour possibly to your situation. So
yeah, because I feel like when we did this a few years ago, Hard Rock on the weekend, because we were there on the weekend,
it was not busy.
there weren't 8 million cars in there
No,
and everything else.
no.
This time, now granted, we were there in September versus October. I
That's
don't know
true.
if that makes a difference or
That's
not.
true.
But I mean, it was
Might-
like
it might.
slammed
Yeah.
with cars. I mean, the long lines of people trying to turn into Hard Rock Hotel. It was crazy.
It was. And it was very difficult to get a lift at about 9:30 to get back to our resort from the Hard Rock, because we were like, so the reason why we do this is because Hard Rock Hotel is the closest resort to Universal Studios. So that's why Universal
where
Studios Florida,
HHN
which is
is.
where Horror Nights is.
Right.
So Ash and I just kind of decided that we like to vacation, a certain way. So we were like, you know what, the Hyatt Place is great, but I just don't want to have to deal with this like kind of hassle of,
Right.
doing this stuff. Why can't I just, why is the app not working? Why is it was kind of it sort of caused issues, for us. But we got there pretty smoothly the first night. And so we did like we said, we dropped our stuff off, we got in the room, we changed real quick, got a lift, went over to Hard Rock Hotel, and then we walked to Horror Nights from there. And there's the checkpoint, security checkpoint is like right in the entrance to where, Studios is and where the Hard Rock Hotel pathway ends. So we went through security there. We got our tickets at Will Call, which is weird because if you go, you can actually use the kiosks, but you have to have the right card that you used. And maybe I just wasn't using the right card. That's what the lady told us to pick up your tickets.
Yeah.
But it doesn't tell you that. The machine, so that was my issue.
No, it did. The machine did say that.
It did?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I thought we didn't maybe know, or that was the card we used. So I
Right.
was like, well, if
So
it's
did
not
I.
working, then
Yeah, it was
must have to
weird.
go.
So it was fine. It worked out. We didn't lose a ton of time.
yeah, we wouldn't have been able to get in.
Right, we wouldn't be
any
able to get in
faster.
any faster anyway. We actually wound up being to our benefit because they opened up that side entrance.
Yeah, we got
we
out
were
pretty
right
quick.
as they were letting those
Yeah.
people go because it was going to be a heavy night that night. Weather Thursday, the first day we were there, was beautiful. It was a really nice, really great evening. And so what happened was Ash and I were meeting up with everybody else. Everyone else went to Finnegan's at like 3:30 or whatever.
Yeah, they had like a stay and scream pass,
Yes.
which is where you get to stay in the park because normally it closes down
At
like
5.
yeah, and then they
Kick everybody out.
kick everyone out that's there for like regular stuff during the day, and they change everything over that needs to be changed over for Halloween Horror Nights, and then they let you back in if you have a ticket for that at 6.
Yes.
But if you're already in there and you have that special ticket, you can go to Finnegan's, and I think there's like two other places you can go. And
Yeah.
then you get like early access to a few of the houses, I think.
Yes. Yeah, that's new.
Yeah, it is. It is new.
Because when we did Stay and Scream in 2019, that was not the case. They just kept you in like a pen,
A
and
line,
then you were
yeah.
allowed when the regular park was open. They opened up the pen first, and everybody got to
when
go
the
to
gates opened at 6, we were in within like a minute or two. There's no
Yeah.
way because they did like 2 houses before we got there. There's
Yeah.
no way that they,
Yeah,
that
they
was
did-
just them just doing it.
No, they were allowed to do it. So they did.
There's a picture of a flower.
They did Texas Chainsaw and Bride of Frankenstein is what they did. Universal Monsters Bride of Frankenstein.
No,
what was it called?
Texas. And
They did
Bride.
Texas and Bride, but what was the name of
Of what?
Bride of Frankenstein? There's a specific name.
I don't know. That's what I thought the name was.
Okay, you're gonna have to bring up a list. I don't have my tools with me. Bring up a list of the houses. So yeah, they already had done 2 before we got let in, and then they do have like a cool like entryway show so Jack the Clown. So this is Halloween Horror Nights 30 was
Universal Monsters: The Bride of Frankenstein Lives.
That's right. Okay. The 30 year. It's called 30 Years, 30 Fears. Never Go Alone, and they have Jack the Clown. The icons were featured because they're they were it's key to the history of Halloween Horror Nights, the original icons. So Jack the Clown like opens up the night with this like stage show and a huge fireball like behind him. It was really neat. And then we were allowed in the park, and then we met up with everybody right after they got done with Texas Chainsaw. And it was cool. We had a big crew of people. There was a total of 14 of us?
Yes.
Yeah, total of 14 of us. We all had it was just a blast. It was just really good to see everybody and to be there, with everybody. It was great,
It was good to be there with. We've never been there with such a big group, or at least I haven't.
No.
I think it's been quite a
I
while.
mean, we've
for
had
you.
a decent sized group before, but nothing as
There's a lot
big as
more
that one.
this time. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was good to see all of our friends and meet up with everybody down there and just have a blast. So, which I think is the key to all of it. So before we even met up with everybody, Ash and I tried the chili gumbo wings. And I did not. We tried the wings, which was it's on It wasn't. It didn't
I think
taste
they were kind
like
of
much.
difficult to eat. I feel like it should have just been like chicken fingers.
Yeah, or chicken
something.
legs.
Yeah.
You know, it was weird to eat just a chicken wing that had barely anything on it, and it had some
But
seasoning.
it was very sticky.
It was very sticky, and it didn't
Yeah.
taste like the taste was not breaking through for me. Like it wasn't. It just wasn't that good.
Yeah.
It just was kind of bland, to be honest.
Yes.
So, and you said the same thing, so I know it's not just me. But yeah, so you know, it had a tiny little kick to it, maybe, but we just needed to eat something because we had literally had like Southwest snacks. That was all we had before
all we
that.
had.
So, so we were eating, and then finally we met up with everybody. It was really cool. And then where did we head to first?
Beetlejuice.
Okay, we went to Beetlejuice first, which was actually a holdover from last year, and they brought it back. And Ash, what are your thoughts on Beetlejuice, the first house that we went into?
It is definitely one of my favorites from this year, and I always appreciate the houses more. I mean, it's just my personal preference that aren't like super gory and gross. Like this is more of a combination of like. It wasn't super scary. They had some jump scares and
Right.
cool stuff in there. I thought it did. I thought it was really cool. Some of the stuff they referenced from the movie and everything. But yeah, it was one of my favorites because it was. I kind of compare it to the 29's Ghostbusters house. Like
Yeah.
it was fun and scary.
Yes.
And it was just. It was great. It was great. I liked it.
Yeah, Beetlejuice was just a, not to me. It was just not scary. It was just
No.
fun to walk through.
I guess it wasn't
scenes.
scary, but I mean, they do have people.
They had creepiness because there are some creepy
But I mean, there was some,
guys.
they tried to do some jump scares. I guess it
Yeah.
depends on where you are in the line. So when I say scary, I mean like, did someone jump and the timing was right and
Right,
whatever.
right.
It wasn't. You're right. It wasn't scary.
Yeah, it was a fun,
House. Yeah.
very fun house. Like, and a lot of really great effects and scenes from the movie were showcased, and I think it's cool that HHN does these. In a way, they're sort of like tribute houses to those movies. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they really are, because it's cool that you get to experience the movie
Yeah.
in that format.
Yes, and I think it's good to have a balance because there is a difference, right? To have like Beetlejuice be the one that jumps out, you kind of laugh more than if like, Texas Chainsaw
Right.
Massacre Man
Right.
was like in your face with the chainsaw. It's a
Right.
little bit of a different reaction.
Yeah, a little bit.
Slightly.
Little slightly bit different.
Slightly bit.
A little slightly bit.
Okay,
Okay.
wrap it up.
Oh my god. So yeah, Beetlejuice, very, very fun house. I give it high marks. I thought it was really cool. And the key part about the Beetlejuice house was there was the guys that were dressed up like Beetlejuice, and it was just really cool like to see him.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice actually has been a part of Universal Studios theme park, for a long time. Forever at Universal Studios Florida, there was a Beetlejuice Graveyard Review show where it sort of combined Beetlejuice and the Universal monsters in like a funny musical show, comedy type of show. Right near where Fast and Furious Poop is. Sorry, Supercharged.
Supercharged.
Yeah.
I
Fast
told
and
JB
Furious.
that I really wanted to go on it if there was no
And it
line,
was shut
just
down.
to experience it, just to join in on the horribleness, so I could contribute.
Yeah.
And it was shut down.
It was shut down.
Yeah, they can't
Yeah.
even justify having
Keeping it
someone work there.
Yeah, they can't because it's so bad. Yes. So, and then what was the second house that we hit?
Then we
Ash?
did Haunting of Hill House,
Okay.
and then after that, I have no idea where.
Okay.
This is
Seriously?
the only.
All right,
I don't
well,
remember
give
the
me-
order after
Give me
that.
your
This is you just
phonesies.
flip through those.
Okay. All right. So, yeah. Okay. So after we did Beetlejuice, we headed to Haunting of Hill House, you guys, and this. So it helps to have seen
the show.
I think it adds to the scariness if you've seen it, because
Yes.
you're already anticipating all the horrible moments from
Right.
the show.
Right. So it was really, really cool. Like, I was the Haunting of Hill House was just so well done. Like, to me, and I'm already saying it, but I think for me it was my favorite of this
Oh
year.
yeah, you can tell they put a lot. I mean, they put a lot into all the houses, but this was their crown jewel. You
Yes.
could tell they
Yeah.
really went all out
Yeah.
with it. So
They really did, and obviously I guess they even got Sand was telling me that they even got the doorknobs from the production.
Oh.
For that first scene that you're walking through the hallway, and the doorknobs are moving. Those are doorknobs that they filmed with.
wow,
So those are the doorknobs.
the
The doorknobs. I mean,
Wow.
this is Universal Studios, so it makes
makes sense. It does.
So that was cool, and the thing about the Hill House was the the bent neck lady was like everywhere in one scene. Like she was at both sides of you, in
Above
front of
you.
you, and then above you.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, it was so cool. And then of course the tall man, like he was around as well. He kept getting taller as you went through the house. And okay, so this was the biggest scare of the entire trip was during this house for me. There's a pregnant woman who is standing against a wall, and her womb is like moving, like something's trying to bust out of her stomach,
Yeah, like
alien. Think
yeah,
alien.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Not in a cute the baby's moving way.
Right. Not a. Oh, can't touch the baby.
Kicking no.
Yeah,
false.
hell no. Which is still wild that is a thing. But anyway, so we went past her. I thought that she was just a mannequin, and they put like
Something in there that
something
was
in
making
it to like a
around.
mechanical thing to put to make her belly move. She was not a mannequin.
She was not.
She moved and scared the bejesus out of me. So I screamed and yelled. It was really funny, but it was fascinating.
Well, I mean, props to her because she was sort of standing in this way that made her look
Yeah.
like a mannequin. And
Yes.
she held real still. And I
She
mean,
did.
part of it's timing. We didn't see it happen to the group in front of us, and so you got it the worst
Mm-hmm.
out of our group of people.
Yeah, 'cause
but I
I
thought
led
the same
that
thing.
house.
You were in
Yeah.
front of me.
Yeah.
And we got it bad.
We did. We really did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it
JB
was.
jumped and backed into me,
Yeah.
and everyone fell over.
Yeah. So
Not
it
really,
was.
but-
It was incredible. It was so well done. And then, just so picture just a really cool like manor, like a house, big house, a big mansion that you're walking into, and it's the detail and the red room, the red door in the red room, and the person in the red room, and like just a lot of different things.
You know what scare we didn't get though, which was the one I was the most terrified of
What?
getting, was if you've seen the show, when the kid goes down. I don't remember the kid's names anymore. The kids go down. The one kid, the boy, Luke, maybe goes
Into
down in
the
the basement
cellar?
and
Yeah.
that food tray thing,
Yeah.
or whatever, and that thing comes crawling out. They did that.
They did.
with a live person crawls
Oh.
out, and the second time we went through.
You
We
saw
saw
it?
the people behind us get it real bad. The girl was like terrified.
Nice.
But he did. He stayed real low. He was like crouching below these like barrels, and then he like crawled out real
Yeah.
low, super fast.
Ooh,
It was terrifying.
damn,
Yeah.
that is scary.
I'm glad. I'm kind of glad in a way we didn't.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of like showed something with that scene beforehand, so you kind of think like, oh, they're not going to do that, and then they did.
Yeah. No, they did.
They did.
They went there.
Ooh.
they
He
did
got
that.
real close to her.
Yeah.
It was scary.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I would have peed a little if it happened to me.
Yes, definitely. Lots of pee.
Did you pee?
No.
Okay.
But it was scary down there. Yeah, they just that house was just so well lit, and there's one part where it's just completely dark. Like they
Yes.
mess with you where it's just so dark here. Like where are we even going?
Horrifying.
Yeah, it was horrifying. But by far, I think just the most detailed, one of the more detailed and just well done.
And the tall guy.
Yeah.
Tall guy, whatever. He came
Yeah.
out and got you a few times.
Yeah. It was really good.
It was very good.
It was very well done. Okay. And then I believe, so
You
now
said
we're
I
going to,
might know. I just don't remember.
now we're going to go out of order probably a
Yeah,
little bit because
I
I
don't
don't
know.
quite remember the order
I mean,
with which we did
all
everything
of
else.
them except for the ones that they did before we got there.
Right. So Revenge of the Tooth Fairy, we
I
did.
remember that.
So it was cool. It's like a storybook setup where there's these big pages and it kind of tells you the story as you're going through the whole house, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
So it was well timed. So you could actually listen to the whole story as you were
I
going
didn't
through.
feel like I was paying attention to that.
Probably not.
I get caught up in the. I feel like for me to really notice details like that, I probably have to go through the houses a few times, which
Right.
isn't. I'm more like thinking about where the next
Right.
thing is. Like I as the years go by, I am getting better and more comfortable in the setting
Yeah.
and trying to like just embrace that I am going to jump at some point and it's okay to like look at details.
Yes.
But I kind of focus on breathing.
That's a
more
good idea.
And the gore, and you pick up more on the details. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't really paying attention to the book
Right.
at all.
Right.
I also had a few drinks. Not a lot.
True.
I had 3 throughout the whole night. That's
right.
not
People,
that many.
yeah, everybody was drinking, you know.
Well, some more than others.
some more
I don't
than-
feel like 3 drinks over like 6 hours is that
No.
big of a deal.
No.
But
So we did Revenge of the Tooth Fairy, and this was another holdover from last year's, like, very limited, house arrangement. It was cool. It was it was very gory. It was a very,
it was very
gore.
gory. Yeah, which I mean, I anticipated.
Yeah, it was a gore house. I would say that like there's different types of houses. This one was more of a gore situation, because like you see lots of people with their mouths mangled and things. Like the Tooth Fairy got very angry and
Yes.
wanted to take everyone's teeth, all of everyone's teeth.
Yeah, and
kinda
it always
gross.
bothers me when it's like kids. We would see the kids,
Kind of gross. Yeah.
not the adults as much.
Right. So that one was interesting. I did not. I mean, I thought it was cool. It
It
was
was well
unique.
done.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It was well themed and well done. You're going through this like, kind of rich, well-to-do, like turn of the century type home. I want to say like a older home, and you're of a well-to-do family, and the Tooth Fairy is like taking out the whole family.
Yeah.
So it was kind of neat in that way. The storytelling was really good in that house, and the visuals were gross.
I feel like they used a lot of muted tones, like grays and stuff, except for the blood on the mouth. The red was very pronounced.
Really, yeah. Good catch.
Thank you.
Good catch, Ash. So yeah, Revenge of the Tooth Fairy was good as well. And then I believe we did Puppet Theater, maybe we
I
did
don't remember
Puppet
the
Theater.
order, but we did do that.
To be honest with you, it was very Puppet Theater for me was pretty forgettable. Like
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm trying to remember.
you kind of walked through like this theater. I mean, there were some cool sets inside this one. Like the balcony is collapsed in one area of the theater, and like there's dead people. There's creepy. I don't know. Everybody's deranged in here. These puppeteers and stuff. Not just I don't know. Didn't land. I don't think the way that they maybe were wanting it to land. I don't know. So
Yeah.
it says a puppeteer and a ballet troupe trapped in a deserted theater for years are about to turn you into a human puppet. That's your cue to scream.
Okay.
So
Good to know.
good to know.
Didn't pick up on that.
Right. So, yeah, I didn't really pick up on that either. And then, of course, we went to Welcome to HHN Icons Captured, which, according to Brown, Mr. Brown, one of our buddies, said we did not have a good walkthrough.
We did
not have a good
was
run.
Not impressed with this house.
He said that there was a lot of scare actors missing from this run that we.
I wonder
that we
why.
did.
I wonder if they
Probably it
just,
was shift change. That does happen where they are swapping people in and out, and
yeah, it does.
so we
had
just
that,
kind of
the year before or 2 years ago. What were we going through? There's Universal Monsters, right? When there was
Yeah.
just a bunch of people missing from
Yeah.
that, which I mean, it's inevitable. It happens.
It does. So I liked HHN Icons Captured because for me it was more of a celebration of Horror Nights lore, right? It was director, storyteller, caretaker, Jack, Chance, Fear, but we missed out on Lady Luck, who a lot of those were missing. Like you wouldn't even. We walked through their area and there was nothing even in it.
Well, and I think that was part of it for me, but I think it was also, I feel like they relied just on the icons. It didn't seem like there was a lot to the sets at all to me. Like
That's
it just
true.
seemed like there was just a bunch of curtains, and then
They had some. No,
but
they
not
did
a
have
lot.
their director. Well, because they had so many, I'm thinking that they did. The show scenes were limited, so they were smaller, and they weren't like they had like a movie screen for the director at one point playing some things, so you denoted that you were heading into the director's area. But like, yeah, not. I mean, I wish I would have maybe gone through that one more time.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we probably would have gotten more out of it.
Because, well, I wasn't super invested in all the icons because I wasn't around. I mean, like, I have watched YouTube videos and, like, care about it enough that I was interested to go through the house and kind of see the different things in it. To me, it was one of the more underwhelming houses, and I mean, it was cool to see Jack and all the different icons, but it could have chalk it up to not a great run.
It's again, I don't think, yes, I think that was more of we were sort of a victim of not having a good run through there. Probably would have been better, but that's okay. Sometimes that stuff happens. And then I believe we went into Welcome to Scary,
which maybe was my least favorite of all.
which is a very short house.
Very short. You know what? I feel like whichever house
in that smaller tent
is in this spot never does it for me.
Yeah.
I really loved the setup of this. I really wanted to like it. I liked the idea of like the town and the aesthetic. It was very cool. Like I liked it.
Yeah.
But in the house, it was just short. I wasn't really sure what the point was.
Yeah.
It was just, I don't know.
Well, our friend, our buddy Adam, it was one of his favorites.
Well, it's fine. I mean, everyone has different things that they like.
So, like, you enter the town through, like, the sewer, you're in a waterworks factory, and then you kind of go through different parts of the town, and there's maniacs.
I think it was just
killing people.
It was like you walk through an area, and it was, for me, it was just, I don't know. I didn't even realize where we were. So, like, this one room was, like, 2 different places.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. So
it was rushed.
You felt like it was, okay.
It was just short, and when I walked out, I was sort of like, so I'm not sure what's happening.
Right. They did a really cool, like, billboard for it.
Yes, I loved that.
A lot of really great art direction.
I liked the style of it and everything. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And the sets were cool. It was more of, I was just sort of kind of confused of what we were trying to do.
Yeah, what were we trying to accomplish? Yes.
But,
yes.
As always, I mean, everyone's favorite houses are always, you know what I mean? Everyone has different things that they like, so.
Right. Well, we'll get to that at the end, but yeah. So, because I did ask a few people last night what they thought their faves were. And then of course we went. I believe Ash, we went into Wicked Growth, Realm of the Pumpkin.
Yeah, I don't really remember this a ton.
You don't.
I mean, kind of. I remember thinking that it kind of reminded me of Seeds of Extinction, but I didn't think it was nearly as good.
Yeah, I mean, this one was, I don't know, this one was kind of cool. Well, first off, nothing beat the entryway of this one.
Yes.
The
It was-
jack-o'-lanterns
it was
everywhere. That
cool.
was really cool.
It was good. It was good.
Yeah. If you don't remember it, that's okay.
No, I do. I just, I feel like we did them all. I don't know. In the past, this is the first year we haven't done like a tour and spent more time in the houses. So like, like I said, I kind of go through the first time and I'm more just like trying not to be
Scared.
afraid. So as you're talking about it, I'm remembering more about it.
Right. Wicked Growth. This is, I would say, this is a more of a scenic
Yeah.
house. Really cool, like environments, really cool creatures, really cool, like lighting. At the end, you basically inside of a pumpkin.
Right.
Like you're like
yeah,
a little.
Yeah, I remember.
Like
Okay,
imagine
yeah.
yourself being small and then inside of a pumpkin.
Yeah, because there were like that string kind of.
Yeah,
Looks like the
yeah, and the
inside.
seeds
Yeah.
were everywhere. I mean, I don't know. To me, Wicked Growth was really, I think, probably the most detailed of the original houses. Right, not an IP-based house.
You're probably right. Yeah.
But it was cool. I thought it was neat. I thought it was really neat. And then, for like almost to the end. And then at the
Case Files one.
then we did Case Files Unearthed, because we only did we did do Bride, but that was for another day. So we'll talk about that when we get to our last day of this trip. And then we did Case Files Unearthed, which is called Legendary Truth. Which this one, again, this was one that wasn't very scary, but I was intrigued the whole time because each scene had a different like dime store novel to it. Like 5 Cents Boris Schuster, is the name of the private eye, like a film noir,
Right.
hard-boiled detective stories, but these going after monsters, which is something funny because Bud Hutchins is basically the same thing. So Boris Schuster is actually, his private eye office is actually on New York Street in Universal Studios. Like, it was always there. So they just used like a character from Universal Studios Florida and used it for a house. So what'd you think of this one?
I actually enjoyed this one. Like you said, it wasn't really scary, but it kind of kept my attention more than Scary did. And I really liked the feel and the atmosphere in there was intriguing. Like,
Yeah.
I was kind of looking, and for me, I almost enjoy it a little more, or at least it's nice to have a balance. I felt like I could relax a little more and look around before having to be like scared of someone jumping out at me or something.
Right.
But I was a little bit more invested in the story, and so I enjoyed this house.
Yes,
I did.
Yes, I did too. I thought I would love to have those posters of.
Yeah, the
I
posters.
really would like those posters.
And I would really like the poster for Scary.
Yeah.
The
billboard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Case Files Earth was cool. It is cool as you're walking through again. You're getting sort of a audio narration of Boris talking about his latest case, and it like changes a lot because there's a lot of scenes,
Yeah.
that they kind of put you through, which maybe was to his detriment. Maybe if they focused only on
Just
a
one.
few, or two or
Just
three,
one,
maybe,
yeah.
instead of like kind of like 6 or so. I mean, there's 4, like 5 or 6.
Yeah. You know what? Overall, and I know we haven't talked about the latest or Bride, and we didn't end up doing Texas, so we can't really talk about that. But we
We
can talk
did
about
not.
other people's experience there.
Yeah.
I felt like this year the original houses just weren't as strong as they normally are.
Right.
In the past, there have been some really favorites of mine that were always original houses, and this
Yeah.
year I can't really say that that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's bound to happen. I feel like the choices they made though kind of made it harder. Like, when you think about Scary Tales, I mean, the concept alone is probably a little bit easier
Because
to...
it's fairy tales that we know.
Right, fairy tales,
Yeah.
you're kind of making that association. So you have to, like, build all this stuff. Like, people are already familiar, and they can kind of connect to a lot of the things you're doing. Whereas you think about Scary, you kind of have to, like, paint this picture and a plot and, like, do all this stuff in a house.
Yeah.
And it's just
Yeah.
a little bit harder to accomplish. Or... Like the pumpkin, I think, what was it called? The pumpkin house this year? The one we just talked about.
Yeah, Wicked Growth.
I think there's a
Realm of
reason
the
why
Pumpkin.
that one is the most like your favorite, probably one of the most well done ones that's original, because you think about like Seeds of Extinction, I thought was really good. Like when you're kind of put into this world
Yeah.
where that's all you really have to, not all you have to do, but they're basically just saying like, okay, this is where you are.
Yeah.
And now it's scary.
Right.
Like, you don't really need to tell a story
Right.
as much. I
Right.
feel like it's easier rather than going through like the case files ones. There's like 6 different things.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, okay. And I feel like so much effort goes into it, and just you can't really take that much away from it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, it is a it's just a different experience. I mean, it's just that's the cool thing about Horror Nights. It's just so cool. Now we could go ad nauseum into the many details and some of the cool show scenes that they had in each house. Because there are always like cool special effects that they do, or different things that they put in there to try and get you. The one notable one is that they use this pretty frequently, but the Beetlejuice. Everybody lost their minds when they got into Beetlejuice because they did the tunnel. The tunnel,
my gosh, you guys!
right? The tunnel that like makes you dizzy and is like spinning, and you're walking through it, and it literally made almost all of us like almost fall over and not make it through. I think Tanya like had to be pushed, like she was completely on the ground.
That's so great.
What is going on?
All of us, we're not 22 anymore. We're like, oh my gosh, like,
Yeah.
oh, how stupid is this? We're
Yeah,
holding,
just
all of a
go
sudden, I'm
straight.
like really gripping.
Yeah, I was like, what is wrong with us old ass minds? It was we were.
It was trippy.
It was very trippy, very trippy. They used that in a Psycho house
Ooh.
way back when. I remember they did that.
You know what I think would be
Norman
really
Bates
great
house.
is if someone was in there, like a scare actor, and like you literally couldn't get away.
Yeah,
That would be
that
horrifying.
would be terrible.
I should work there. I have great ideas.
Yeah, you
so
really
I
should.
can really frighten
You're
people
sick.
to
You're
death.
sick. Yeah.
I would be the one working.
Right. So, what was your favorite house?
Slid.
Slid, indeed. Hashtag
Haunting.
Slid. Haunting.
Yeah.
Mine was haunting as well.
And Beetlejuice next.
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
And the Beetlejuice next. I would say that. So I asked people last night.
What'd they say?
So Adam said scary, haunting, and Beetlejuice, I think is what he said. T-Bone said haunting and Beetlejuice, and Dave said icons and Beetlejuice and haunting. So it was pretty consistent what people were saying. You know what I mean? Like they just really liked it because they were well done. They were really well done, and scary and fun.
Yep.
So, but that was just our overview of our first night. A lot of things happened that night.
Did.
We did have a bust out of "Don't Stop Believin'" in Finnegan's.
One of us was involved and one
In
of us
line.
was not. So it went on a little
Just a
too
small town.
long,
We sang pretty much the whole song.
and
Yeah,
it was not needed
right.
to go through the
But
whole...
everybody was very.
No,
A
not
lot.
everyone.
Everybody was into it. Everybody was.
False.
False.
No, it was fun. It was fun.
No, it was fun. It was
I'm not-
memorable. It was memorable.
And Adam thought he was recording it.
And he never did.
He was not.
So we lost
So he was
out.
holding up his phone for like 3 minutes.
Yeah. Yes.
So upset I won't get to relive it.
I'm upset. Anyway. But yeah, I mean,
'cause
people
you were-
came from the bar, like gave me like props. They like gave me a handshake. They
I
were-
was right there.
Gave me knuckles. He was like, "Dude, that was great." I was
He
like,
also
"Thank
was a hammered person.
you." I was like, "Hey,
So
I know I sound great. Thank you. A vocalist. So, all right, and then. So that was our first day, you guys. Our first night. We're gonna get into more details. I'm sure there'll be more
yeah, guys, we have
anecdotal
our
stories.
review of Velocicoaster and
Yeah.
Hagrid's.
Yes, coming
Coming
up. Coming up next week. All right, stay
Some
tuned.
funny stories there.
Yeah, lots of good stuff. Oh man, Hillary, I love you.
Stop.
Come here, baby.
We gotta
All
finish
right.
watching that.
Impeachment,
Yeah.
American Crime Story. Yeah,
We'll review it.
no,
No,
we
we
won't.
will not.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Honestly, the whole trip would not have been possible if it weren't for our good friend Emily.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about her
We
yet.
that was your cue, you moron, and then you just ruined it.
No, I didn't ruin it.
You could have
I'm
been
just saying.
smooth, and you could have just went right into the
How many
spiel.
times you could have been smooth
And
about
then
things?
you
and
just
you're not-
didn't. You just like, I'm free for free.
I was just being honest.
Okay, go do it.
Jeez, you do it.
Emily at Magical Mouse Travel. She helped us have a great experience
You guys,
at
she
Universal
did.
Orlando
Oh my gosh,
Resort.
shut up. You're the worst. Well, it didn't hit me. He's throwing things at me. No, guys, seriously, she set up our dining reservation. She took care of our ticket purchases and all the stuff, and we changed a few things on her, and she took care of that too. So she made the process seamless. It was very easy and smooth. Everything was great. She had many recommendations she sent to us, which we also used, and she sent us this, I don't know what she calls it, but it's like not like an itinerary, but like a little packet of stuff that she emails out. Sometimes she
Yeah,
mails
just
it,
tips,
whatever.
tricks.
Yeah, and it was really great information, really helpful, so we super appreciate that. So if you're looking to book a trip to Universal or Disney Cruise Line, which, side note, I've heard nothing but good things about people cruising on the Disney Cruise Line, regardless of the mandates that are in place with cruises.
Oh.
People are saying wonderful experiences. So
That's great.
If you're looking to do that, reach out to her. Email's the best way to get a hold of her. Emily at magicalmousetravel.com. Let her know that we sent you over. And like I said, she can take care of everything for you. The hotel booking, tickets, dining, all of it. All of it.
Right.
No one can see what
All
I'm
of
doing
it.
with my hand.
All of it.
All of it. All of it.
All right. So, and also, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to try to be more consistent. We've had a lot of transition happening over the last month or so.
A lot.
And of course, it's always Ashley's fault. So, so it's not me; it's her. But anyway, I love you guys. We love you guys. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, which I still have to look into, Spotify, Deezer, all sorts of different places where you can
Why are you
listen.
looking at me? That's like your
Stitch.
job. And I thought one of them wasn't even loading.
Did
Did you ever look into that?
Nope. All right. So from the Midwest. See you later.